Hello friends, welcome back to ReddX, Trace Amounts of Science. Today we're getting into Chlorine Beard once more. There's a playlist in the description if you've missed the previous videos. It's a pretty good one, hits a lot of Neckbeard tropes. A very menacing and stinky individual, because every time he gets in the pool, he comes out smelling like cat pee, because he's activated the chlorine with his dirty body, so it smells like ammonia. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and get on into it, see how it goes. It's probably gonna be just fine. This is Chlorine Beard Part 7, Showers, with quotes, Shovels, and Stains. Hello again, ReddX Industries. Hi, OP. It's been a little under 2 weeks since my last chapter of the Chronicles of Chlorine Beard, but I'm back and I will continue where I left off. Relevant cast, OP. Yeah, tad bit of nerve damage, but nothing too bad. I like to help people help themselves, but sometimes I invest a little too much of myself in that. There's also manager, my girlfriend, OP's girlfriend, and we were still in the honeymoon phase. Chlorine Beard, our Neckbeard, who goes full auto in taking his shot with anyone who looks in his general direction. Never worked, but who knows? Maybe one day it will. Yeah, hope floats. Chlorine Beard at this point was the least beardy that he ever was. He lost most of his stench, learned to hold his tongue when talking to people. Overall, I'd say you could approach him without noticing all of the beardy traits that he once used to have. It's December, and I noticed that Chlorine Beard's hair looked crunchy for the past few days. Crunchy's not good. So I pointed it out to him, saying something like, "Dude, your hair's frozen. How long were you outside for?" Chlorine Beard, not too long. I just haven't showered in a few days. OP, I'm sorry, what? Chlorine Beard, I figured if I just use Axe, then the smell goes away, so I'm saving time, man. Yes, and what are you doing with all the time you saved? Oh, fucking wasting it. He was saving frames from showering to complete his unstink run any %. Yeah, don't forget to count the iframes. You gotta take advantage of those. After a long back and forth of shower to but axe, his entire argument was based on saving time and water. I don't know how long anyone else showers, but mine's about 10 minutes long, and even then, I could go faster, but I just really want to make sure that I don't have chlorine on me at all hours. Yeah, they give you 2 minutes in the Navy. In and out, you're fine. Eventually, he told me that his showers were really, in truth, baths. Well, you get the bath bomb and the candles, it's all nice. Not only did he take baths, but he took about 40 minutes on average to do so. He lied about taking showers for about half a year because, and I quote him directly, "Baths aren't for men, dude, but they are so relaxing." I can't help but take baths. Dude, I'm about it. Fucking get my rubber ducky, some bubbles going in there. That's a good time. That's a good time. Now, if you take baths, good for you. Enjoy it, but I'd imagine that's a treat for yourself, not a daily thing that's needed to cleanse yourself of a coat of filth daily. Why not, bro? I know showers are more efficient and such, but fucking bubble bath. After the end of that semester, he didn't message me at all, but I came to learn that he was texting my girlfriend, manager. After a week or two, a huge snowstorm swept into the area, and I used to live in Colorado, so I'm familiar with shoveling snow, but here in Texas, manager never really had to, and her driveway was completely covered, and she ended up complaining to me about it. OP, do you want help with it? Manager, yeah, but no one in my house wants to help. OP, would you mind if I helped you with it? Manager, what are you gonna do? Walk here? Yeah, sure, why not? I started a 1.5 mile walk in the freezing cold, but I had the equipment to go through it, so it wasn't that bad. I assume you mean not the snow shovel, but the earmuffs and whatever the fuck people wear. Gore-Tex gloves. Fucking got my ice pick. I got all the equipment. Then manager called me. I had earbuds in while walking. I think I was listening to Sir Sam or Bluebeard. Check those out if you haven't, they're great. Anyway, OP answered his girlfriend and she said, "Wait, are you actually walking here?" And OP said, Yeah, dude. She says, OP, you are stupid. I was being dramatic. You don't have to come, OP. I'm already like halfway over, so do you want me to show up and help? And she says, well, how? The roads are ice, OP. I just walk fast. Manager, hey, also, Chlorinebeard was asking if he could clear my driveway. If you're really heading over here to do it, I'd tell him that. But either way, I'm still gonna say that that's what you're doing, even if you don't actually. Yeah, just to ward Chlorinebeard off. Seems like a good plan. OP says, well, I'm gonna be there, so don't worry. Manager, are you at least being safe with your walk? OP, yeah, but oh wait, that car just lost traction. Oh dear God! I made an explosion sound effect with my mouth. Manager, ha ha, very funny, but please stay safe. OP, will do. After a long walk, I got there and saw that Chlorinebeard was standing outside her house on his phone and looked like he was about a second off of being considered a poopsicle. He was wearing skinny jeans and a thin long-sleeve t-shirt, and then he saw me. Chlorinebeard, what are you doing here? OP, shovel. Chlorinebeard, don't worry, man. I can take care of it. Yeah, I'm not gonna let you do that. You can scarcely take care of your own personal hygiene. Get the fuck out of here. OP says, well, I'm already here, and Chlorinebeard, manager actually asked me to clear her driveway. OP, are you sure about that? Chlorinebeard, what? Manager walked out, and she looked like she was on edge, so I kind of just did my best to make her feel less so. OP, hey, do you have a shovel for mine quest? Manager, yeah, sure, just let me go get it for you. Chlorinebeard, could you get me one too? OP, Chlorinebeard, go take care of your own driveway. Chlorinebeard, what? I already did. Why do you think I didn't? OP, because of the way that you're dressed, dude. You couldn't have been out here for more than a minute. Chlorinebeard, but... OP, after I'm done here, do you want help shoveling your walk as well? Chlorinebeard, no. I'm gonna grab my shovel and I'll help shovel here. OP, alright. Go ahead. No, seriously. I would rather do this alone. You're only going to muck it up. He left, and manager just gave me a normal shovel. Not a snow shovel, but I'm not picky. I guess. It's not as convenient, but it'll work. I told her she can go inside and keep warm because I don't think she'd have fun shoveling snow. So she went inside and called me while I just shoveled away for about a half an hour. However, when I hit an ice patch, it turned from a 45-minute job into an over an hour job. That entire time, Chlorinebeard didn't show back up until near the very end. When he showed up, he was in clothes that I could see actually could keep him warm. Thick wool long-sleeve shirt, another pair of jeans, tennis shoes, trench coat. Oh, did I forget how he kept his face warm? I did! Well, he wore a face mask that had a skull and crossbones on it, and to keep the top of his head warm, he wore a fedora. That's so wonderful. You look so fucking cool right now, can I tell you that? I was wearing a Ushanka, a large winter coat, 2 pairs of jeans, a ski mask, gloves, and boots. Manager was still in my ear while I was talking to him, and the following conversation went down. Chlorinebeard, what? How? Did manager come out and help you? Manager, he's stupid. I have you to do the torture for me. OP, no, just me and the shovel. Chlorinebeard, dude, getting manager to do this is not cool. Some good old-fashioned white knighting neckbeardery, you know? I did say I missed it, and here it is. OP says, well, she's literally laying down on her bed, waiting for me to ask her to take a look and see if I need to do more. There's a chance she's even asleep. Manager, wow, you really think that lowly of me? Do you want the nice answer or the honest answer? Chlorinebeard, there's no way. OP says, I don't even think she has a second shovel. Chlorinebeard, but there's more to shovel. OP says, more for me to shovel. Go home, dude. Plus, most of the area you pointed to is just grass. Chlorinebeard, I'm gonna ask manager about this. Manager says, oh dear God, no. What is this fucking guy's deal? I guess he has eyes for her, but yeah, you're making it about the weirdest thing possible. Beard turned around and started to text Manager when my eye took a note. On his fresh light blue jeans, there was a shit stain. Oh no. I was disgusted at first, and then I realized that the comedy gods smiled upon me to give me this, and I began to laugh. Beard. What, OP? Did you check your pants before you left? Because I think you might have, sat in chocolate before you got here. Beard. What? Manager. What'd you just say? OP. Go home and change your pants, dude. Don't embarrass yourself. I'm not going to say anything about this. Manager was laughing at this point. Beard says, you're an asshole, you know. OP says, no. If I was that, I'd tell people about this, but this never happened. So go home to make this story more believable. I mean, you did tell it to all of us, but I think that's fine. I'm a bit of an asshole myself from time to time. Manager, you're gonna tell me what happened, right? Beard left, and I said yes to Manager's question. I finished shoveling her entire driveway and a bit of the sidewalk when Manager asked me to go inside. Her mom and stepdad woke up and told her to shovel what I had just done, and they wanted to talk to me about why I was there. It boiled down to me saying that she asked as a joke, and I thought she really wanted my help, so I walked. By the time she realized I was serious, I was almost there. They gave me a warm cup of tea as a thank you. I told them about the ice and how if they had road salt, they should put it out there. They said they didn't have any, and I offered to help if the ice came back. I hung out there for about 2 hours, and then they took me home because they didn't want me to walk home in below freezing temperatures. Well, her parents seem like good eggs, I guess. A warm cup of tea, yeah, I appreciate it. But maybe somebody could slip me $10-20, you know, for the effort. While I was in her room talking to her about future plans, mainly college things, Beard called Manager on Discord and had this to say. Beard, Manager, I don't think OP is nice. Manager, oh, I see him. Beard, he insulted me, and he tried to fight me when I came to help clear your driveway. Manager, oh, did he? Beard, yeah, and he told me if I tell you, then to pour water on my driveway and pray that my mom would crash. Just, yeah, keep piling it on. Why not? Manager says, really? Well, I'll have to ask him about that because Beard, no, don't do that. He'll just twist your mind. Manager, what? Beard, he got Nemo to hate me, and he listed a handful of the girls on the team to ignore me. Manager, wow, I'll have to ask him. Bye. Beard, wait! She hung up on him before he could say anything else. Good. Merciful. I personally thought that this would be the end of me worrying about Manager listening to Beard about anything because he was blatantly lying about our conversations and what I had done to try and convince him to be better, and I stopped taking him seriously because of it. I would come to resent and rectify that decision. Oh my god. You gonna go hard in the paint on Beard? Gonna turn him back into a beard after you unbeardified him? Dude, that is some dastardly, like, moral quandary type of shit, you know? OP says, I think I have 2 more stories that will be less of the dumb neckbeard we love to cringe at and more of the desperate monsters that neckbeards actually are. I'll get to writing after I cool off in the pool. The waves of life are calling me and I am a drowner, so I must answer. Until next time. Yeah, I appreciate you, OP, coming on through, doing the thing. The man with poop in his pants, shoveling the driveway. That's good. I like it. There's also like a bit of, you know, schmaltz with OP and his girlfriend, the love interest, but it's not too packed in there. We get a taste of the neckbeard every now and then. I might just run on through, finish the whole damn thing today. I think there's only like 3 more parts left after this one. We're on a good track. We can make it. Something nice and beefy to start the week out, huh? Let's get the Gubbinses in here first, though.
The man, the myth, the skid mark, the only creature to declare victory over hygiene while losing a ground war against his own trousers. A tragic tale of hubris, hygiene, and Hershey's aftermath. Gubbins.
Oh, I like that. Good alliteration. Oh, we're learning some new things. How about you, Dark One?
The gods gave him a warning frost, yet still he strutted forth, pants stained with his own undoing. The snow did not fall upon him. It recoiled. Every crunch beneath his boots was an omen whispering, "Go home, beast, cleanse thyself." But he would not. He stood in that driveway as a monument to failure, the poopy plow man, frozen in his own legend. Dark Gubbins.
Poopy Plowman. Delectable. I like both of those. I'm going to give you each a point, and we'll move on and see what the next part holds for us, shall we? Chlorine-beard, Part 8. Unfortunate Ends. I mean, all ends were sort of just meant to happen. Everything ends. It's fine. It's not unfortunate. You fucking roll with the punches. OP says, this will not be so fun for me to tell, so I might not be able to retell this part with the same emotion and style that I usually have, but I'll strive for it in the name of the scientific studies. As per usual, I will grant the cast, OP, yes indeed, Manager, Allergic, who's a soul too sweet for public high school, can't say no, very much into cosplay, Distance, the new member of the swim team, joined the team because he found mentions of it in a bathroom stall, which was Placebo's work, for those wondering. There's also Flyer, a strong man who's grown into the full hippie look. And of course we all know Chlorine-beard, a guy who, after digging out of most of his beardy traits, dove right back into it. I got no clue what goes on in his head, but I'd imagine it's like a Baldur's Gate run. If I just keep trying, then it'll work, realizing that he doesn't have a quick save. Dude, that's called a hardcore run, bro. You're doing a Baldur's Gate Nuzlocke? That's fucking sick, dude. After the last story, Manager and I talked a bit, but then our conversations became dry by the end of December. I did ask her if she was doing okay because of that, and she said she was fine, and I chose to believe her despite the fact that my gut was saying that something was wrong, but I trusted her, so I didn't act on my instinct. Oh my god, does she have a thing going with Chlorine-beard? I'm gonna die. And we got back to school, and she just seemed off. In the same way that was usually attributed to when a gross thing just happened, and I wanted to know what it was. OP, aren't you glad to be back in this unholy place? Manager, I mean, I have to. OP, well, I'm just glad to have you as company during it. Manager, yeah. Cool. OP says, I presume you're tired, and she says again, yeah. Well, you give me fucking nothing here, you know that? Then Chlorine-beard came waddling in, and I know this because I didn't see him, but the smell came back. Death approached my nose, and I just stopped breathing for a long while. OP was about to say something, and Chlorine-beard butts in, "Hey, Manager, it's been a while. You know, since the party." Manager didn't say anything. She just looked at Chlorine-beard, and then me. Chlorine-beard, "Yeah, it was great, OP. It was a shame we didn't have enough space to invite you." Did Chlorine-beard do something terrible to Manager at the party? Is that what's happening right now? Whoa. OP says, oh, who went to do what? Chlorine-beard, "Oh, just me, Manager, Flyer, Allergic, and a couple of my friends that you don't know." He went on about how they first went around the rich neighborhood and looked at the Christmas lights. He also said that the couple of other friends were literally couples. This may not seem like a real note, but Flyer and Allergic did like each other, and they didn't want to try anything that would ruin their friendship, so everyone there was dating or trying to date a person there, including Chlorine-beard, of course, who was into Manager. The rest was just about dumb things that they did or said, so I don't know. I'll leave it here. Yeah, generally parties aren't all that fun to describe. Like, some crazy shit happened, but we were all drunk, and yeah, once we wake up tomorrow, who really gives a shit anyway? Anyway, I came to learn from Allergic and Flyer a few new pieces of the story that Beard conveniently left out. Multiple times during the party, he said, "Look at the cute couple," to Manager while pointing at any of the other pairs. I was, of course, a tad bit ticked off by all this because of what Flyer said. Flyer, "Yeah, Manager tried hanging around me and Allergic, and Beard just kept asking her to look at this anytime she took a second to relax. I don't want to look, can't you see? I've gouged my own eyes out in self-defense." Allergic says, "You're forgetting the mistletoes he had everywhere in his house. The worst part is he tried to convince people to walk under them with someone else. He even tried to drag me and Manager over to one, and then he said that Manager and I should kiss after we walked by one that was on the floor." On the floor? That's not even how that shit works. OP says, "I was fuming because I knew exactly what Beard was trying to do. Yeah, to the point that he's no longer a friend and you should probably punch him. I'll respect you less if you don't punch him the next time you see him." So I thought about talking to him about it. Uh-oh, that's weak language. That's not good. I am going to punch him in the mouth right now. I don't have to talk to him. I don't have to think about it. Just BAM! You know what I mean, bitch. However, I thought I'd talk to Manager about this first because I know now more than she knows. Are you sure about that? If you're thinking, why would you confront Manager? I have severe abandonment and trust issues. I have too many stories where I was forgotten about by family and friends. The best example is when I was 8. My family didn't notice that I wasn't in the car when they left to the airport for a vacation, and when they realized they were 2 hours away and called me to say, "I'm sorry, but do you really need us to come home and take care of you?" "No, I'm 8. I got this shit on lock." I said no, and was home alone for about a week. That's the worst of it, but not the only thing. So I was very skeptical if anyone actually wanted me in the room or if they just didn't mind me being there. I have gotten better about that. Did that really happen to you, OP? I think that was just the movie Home Alone. Is your name Kevin McAllister? No, I'm sorry that happened too, but yeah. The kid in Home Alone looked like he had fun. You could put your socks on and slide across the hallway and shit like that. I hope I'm helping. So we were in relative privacy at lunch, so I asked Manager, OP, I never asked, how was the party? Manager, meh. OP, really? Pretty lights and a party and nothing to say about it? Manager, I just talked to Flyer and Allergic, okay? OP, are you forgetting Beard? Manager, no, he didn't really talk to me. OP says, really? And Manager says, why are you interrogating me? Bro, this is not going well. I got some horrible news for you, friend. I think he's gonna figure it out soon enough. I gotta let him figure it out on his own. OP says, well, because I talked to Allergic and Flyer, and they're saying that Beard was all over you during the entire event. Manager, then why are you even asking me about it? OP, because I don't like when people lie to me. Bit of a shit test, but yeah, I guess I see where you're coming from, maybe. Manager was then super apologetic and convinced me by nearly crying that she wanted to tell me, but thought that mentioning it would upset me. Don't turn on the fucking waterworks. You tell me for real. I'm not falling for that. I then went on to talk to Beard to get more of his story and to try and persuade him to stop. Yeah, hopefully with fists. I think he's really gonna respond to that if you just start putting your fists in and around his face. You'll see massive changes very quickly. We just got done with practice for the day, and I asked Beard to stay back a little bit for something. OP, are you harassing my girlfriend? Beard, no, bro, I would... OP, I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. You are harassing my girlfriend. Stop it. Beard, look, if she wants to talk to me, you can't control her. OP, correct. But if she tells me again that you've been implying that you're better for her than me, well, I'll let you fill in the rest. Beard, hey, OP, just know, before you say anything, this conversation didn't happen. That's OP's favorite line. He likes to pretend that nothing ever happens. And maybe nothing ever does. Neckbeard says, so you're not gonna say anything to her? OP, she already told me. And she will tell me again. Neckbeard, you know she'll see through your lies. I don't know where that came from, but my only response was, and do you think she'll end up believing your delusions? That's a good clap back, honestly. He soon after left, and I didn't ever mention that conversation to anyone, mainly so I could hold on to it until I would need it. The next few months were pretty simple. Neckbeard grew away from me and dove into his depravity once more. Then his dad passed. He wasn't in a good place, so I comforted him because everyone else truly did not care about him. I know how being ignored by people that you would call friends feels, so I talked to him about the pain that he felt, and that was the last time I saw the human side of him. That golfer was in him no more. Oh yeah, he was golfer once upon a time. This kind of is a somber note. I really wish he'd, poop his pants or cry or something. Anyway, the end of the year came, and manager grew a tad distant from me, and then she ghosted me. Yeah, dude, this... I saw it coming a million miles away. I honestly was feeling terrible because I thought something had happened to her, or maybe I'd done something to upset her. I did ask mutual friends, and they said they had no clue what she was doing. I got struck with some bad news and was informed that my grandfather had passed. Still hadn't gotten a response from manager at this point, so I sent a text to her, and I'll paste it here. Hey! I hope you're just camping without a signal, but for the next few days I'll be away from my phone because of a family emergency. Once it's over, I'll see you later, lamplight. Lamplight? Like the lamp from the Brave Little Toaster? That's who your girlfriend reminds you? I give her the wrong voice. After 3 days of me getting up at 7 a.m. and helping set up the funeral until 5 p.m. and then going to my mom's house and finding and printing pictures of him, a day at the funeral, a few more days making sure my mom would be okay, I got back to my dad's and I sent another text to manager saying, the bulk of it is over, so I'm back. Oh yeah, baby. We are so back right now. OP says, I'm not heartless. I felt the loss of my grandfather, but I didn't want to just leave manager out of my life. I also didn't want to drag her back in, so I just told her I wasn't doing too hot because of the funeral. Censored version of what happened, yeah, but I did let her in on the things causing me stress, and she left me with just one character, K. Yeah, what a bitch, whatever. I don't need that fucking type of energy. I ain't needed that type of energy for a while. We're gonna keep it pushing, alright? You have a nice life. Thanks for the smush. Goodbye forever. OP says, I'm stupid, but I knew what this meant. She was done with me. I started to check out of the relationship and asked her for a conversation to make it formal. She left me on red, so I waited about a month and a half until the start of the school year. We broke up and I felt bad because I was invested, but I did my best to pick up my head and said to myself, it just wasn't meant to be. And I started to move on, making sure that I was still moving forward in one way or another. Yeah, what the fuck ever, Easy come, easy go, that's what I say. I guess it can hurt sometimes, but clearly she was checked out. And if you're picking up those type of signals, then yeah, plan your escape strategy. The next story will be the last of this, and I'll be honest, it doesn't paint me in a good light. However, it's what happened, so I'll write it out as it played out for the sake of the studies of these creatures. The tides of life are calling. One more call to answer. I'll see y'all soon. Yeah, you will. I'll be right here. I still think some sus things went on between manager and Neckbeard. There's a reason. Maybe he could just be a lost little puppy, beta orbiter type of stuff, but going to a party with him without OP there, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem great. That's what I'll say. It's not good optics, as they say. Tell me how you feel about it, Gubbinses.
There was no rebirth, only relapse. He became what all unrepentant beards become, a hollow, greasy echo of who they could have been. The chlorine was never meant to cleanse him. It was meant to cauterize what was left. Dark gubbins.
Yeah, don't you go hollow on me, Neckbeard. How about you, son?
Yeah, yeah, it's tragic and all. The beast was human once and whatnot. But let's be real here. The dude tried to turn a Christmas party into a dating sim speedrun. Bro hung mistletoe like bear traps, thinking romance works on line-of-sight mechanics. You can't Febreze your way out of destiny. Once a poopy plow, always a poopy plow. Gubbins.
Yeah. But remember, OP didn't tell anybody about the poopy plow thing, okay? So you guys got to keep that under your hat. That's just between you and me and all of YouTube. I guess we'll see what the next part has for us. There's one more part, and then there's also the epilogue, which we'll get to as well. We'll knock the whole thing out, like I said. So let's get over there and rock and roll. Chlorine Beard Part 9, the double-edged sword and the final chapter. My God, we've truly made it. It took me forever to do it. Hello! As you can see, this is a long story. Sorry for that, but this is the final, and I don't think I should divide it into more parts. I'd spent a long time writing and rewriting to try and make it shorter, but I also want it to be the full effect, so I think it's good enough to tell like this. With that being said, here's the cast. You can look at my posts or ReddX's videos, and you'll see the people I've met along this journey, but there are a few more new players, so here they are. Wait, in the finale we're introducing new people? Okay, I guess it's your story, you know. We got Captain, 6-foot guy who's in pretty good shape. He's the captain in charge of more of the fun things on the team. He has a fun, cheery, social personality. There's Supervisor, a freshman who joined the team wanting an easy out for a PE credit. And seeing how the team was losing manager as the manager in the next year, we welcomed her as the new manager. Poor Soul was a junior, and if that name looks familiar, it is the girl who Chlorine Beard asked to be the host of the baby sub. And yeah, she joined the swim team for who knows why. Maybe she's into submersibles, bro. I don't know. I can't speak for her. There's also Mermaid, a sophomore who's so short that I have accidentally walked over her 3 times in the 1 year I knew her. She's a friend of Nemo and joined for her. Walked over her 3 times? I don't know if that's the flex you think it is. Hello, that's a fucking human being, by the way. Anyway, I'll always include Chlorine Beard, says OP. After all, it's his story. Now a junior, he saw the light of normalcy but chose to sink further into depravity. His personality is completely founded in delusion. If you ask him how he views himself, it would be just an unfortunate soul who's living life to the fullest. Well, only really getting out of the house to go to school and then staying inside to fester in a stench that basically everyone around the block could smell. Maybe he is living his life to the fullest. Maybe he's fighting bourgeois morals. He's not. My senior year started like how anyone would want it to, immediately confirming a breakup and having none of my friends from the previous years in any of my classes. So yeah, not the best headspace at the start, but I did put myself in 4 classes plus swim. I got the last computer science class I could get into, and Chlorine Beard wasn't in there. So once I saw him at swim before introductions you're familiar with, I asked him, "Hey, are you still in computer science?" Chlorine Beard, "No, I failed the final. Now I get the easy class this year." The final he failed was not that hard. And that's not me playing smart. Mrs. Comp's final project was an open-ended question. What did you learn in this class? I thought I'd be funny, so I wrote out the theoretical plan and requirements to get the world record of freediving using a baby. I got 100 on it, so literally, it could have been anything. A guy who took that class wrote out the lore for a Dark Souls boss, also got a 100. Chlorine Beard didn't write anything. Nothing at all. Yeah, he just doesn't give a fuck. Maybe his soul truly is just that vacuous. This man also in the same breath said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get accepted into UT for a computer science major." For those who don't know, UT's computer science field is so competitive that even though I'm certified in 2 languages, Python and Java, I was immediately shut down for it because I wasn't showing promise for the dedication required for the major. Yeah, whatever, I don't need your shitty paper, I'm gonna be over here building my own thing, you know? It's the vibe you gotta go with. Then the coach had some announcements to make. Coach, this year's guy captains are Captain and OP, and the girls are, insert names here, Betty and Veronica. Why don't they get names? I guess they're not involved in the events of the story. Then a whole speech about expectations again. Once that was done, I and Captain were called by the coaches to discuss our role as captains. We went with a fun captain and a strict one. I was the more strict one because I was not feeling too well in the head, and maybe yelling at people to stop breathing would help. It did. My job was mainly to make sure there weren't any problems with people in their events, and if there was, to report it to the coach. I never did. I was also put in charge of 6 people to look after to make sure that they did their part on the team. At least we're not calling them littles anymore. That kind of skeeved me out. OP says, I had a problem with this because I had to make sure that Neckbeard would show up to his events, and manager was recording times and showing supervisor how to do all the aspects of managing. I also had Nemo as a little again. Oh god, I spoke too soon. Which also brought Mermaid under my wing. Then I got Distance and Poor Soul as my responsibility. I only had a true problem with one person when the year started, that being manager. Mainly because she just fucking ghosted me. So I asked Captain to take responsibility there, and thankfully he did, but he asked me, Captain, hey, manager told me that you were supposed to check on her? Why? OP. Long story, but I'll just say that I have a lot of other people to directly deal with. Captain, should I tell her that? OP, no. Why would you tell her that? He shrugged, and weeks passed, and then I took notice of something. Manager and Neckbeard were getting close. Very close. And I chose to ignore it because that ship for me had sailed, and I'm not getting myself involved in that mess that is high school drama. Oh, come on, OP. High school's a serious thing. These problems matter. Our team decided to have a day where we swam 50 meters of each stroke to get times, and Neckbeard was very persistent to race me in each of the events. So I let him. A manager stood right behind us to take our times, and when we were about to dive in, she said to Neckbeard, "Beat him, babe." Oh my god. Gross. Oh, I knew it was coming, but just for you to say it out loud, like not sarcastically or anything. What the fuck is wrong? Did they erase your memory? The guy with the poop on his pants? Did he flash you with one of the little MIB things? OP says, I felt something in me. Not hate, not sorrow, not malice, just pain. Pure pain right in my heart. I'm gonna be so honest, I felt that pain consume me for months. I let it in with welcome arms and used it to push myself so much harder than I usually do. I didn't just beat Neckbeard, I beat him when he touched the 25-meter mark. That pain pushed me to pull harder, kick faster, keep my head down. So yeah, I have manager to thank for unlocking that within me. Due to my influx of speed, I was now on every A relay instead of just my usual distance spot. Hell yeah, get the fuck, you succubus. I hope I never stop hating you. I could use this fuel forever. OP says for the medley, I was in the butterfly position and the other 2 relays were freestyle. Then at our first swim meet, it was our A and B relay and some other teams against each other. And the sound went off, backstroke went, then breaststroke. Then me and Neckbeard were on the block waiting for our breaststrokers to return. And he said to me, "Let the fastest man win," and smirked. He had confidence that he would beat me. He looked off to the side where our manager sat, and manager did a heart shape with her fingers. That pain was back, and I intend to set a school record at using it. Our breaststrokers touched, and we dove in. I took a few pulls, and I heard something. It was the sound of my bones, crunching and snapping, like walking on a forest trail. I had just dislocated my fucking shoulder, and I will transcribe the thoughts that went through me in the next few seconds. No, God, no, fuck, push! You can't feel this, you freak! Push harder and win! Wipe the grin off their fucking faces! Who has ever thought that lowly of us? Show them wrong! Show them you won't lose! I'm sorry, voice. I'm too busy drowning now. My shoulder's dislocated, you see. Like, as much as I want my vengeance, it's gotta be a different day. But it seems like OP dug deep, turned up the heat. He says, so I did. I finished the last, I'd say, 30 meters with a dislocated shoulder, and to my surprise now, I made a lead for our relay. Touched the wall and couldn't move my right arm too much, so I used the left to drag me out, and then Chlorinebeard got to the wall after me and climbed out. Chlorinebeard, dude, did you hear that in the water? Somebody broke a lead rope. OP, fuck, no, that... I stopped myself from shouting because that got some looks from the other teams, and a random guy said to me, dude, what noise did you make in the water? I heard that when I was coming in. OP says, that was my arm. I said that, and then I grabbed my arm and shoved it into the socket, and I heard a pop and could finally move it freely again. Oh, bullshit. I fucking popped my own shoulder back in. Fucking no. Suspension of disbelief snapped. I can't do it. You didn't have to put yourself up against a wall to do it or anything. You just do it so often that you're like, oops, here we go again. OP says the crunching and other pops that were produced was grim. Chlorinebeard had a weak stomach and he threw up. Some of it got in the pool, so the rest of the meet was cancelled. Lucky for me. Why? I thought you popped it back in. I thought you could be the fastest man alive in the water. He's like a dolphin man with detachable arms. My relay told coach what happened, and I was put out of the water so that our school's trainer could take a look at me. She didn't find anything wrong, but that's probably because she looked at the wrong arm. I did put myself into a splint for a few weeks, and I had to stay out of the water for that time, but once I was back in, you lied to the trainer, and then you're like, I'm gonna wear a splint anyways. He's not only a dolphin man with detachable arms, he also is his own doctor. Dr. Dolphin Man. God, he's here to save us every swim meet. It's amazing. I'll be real honest with you. The reason that manager dumped you is because of your own ego. I mean, she went with Chlorinebeard, which isn't all that much better, I guess, but maybe that's something that she could talk about with a therapist at some point. Why are you attracted to men with overinflated egos? What's that about? Whatever. Anyway, after his splint, he was put back into the water on freestyle because I couldn't swim butterfly without risking further injuries. Coach did ask some questions to me about coming back in the water, the biggest one being, why didn't you say that it hurt? You messed up bad. What gives? And I explained my history with nerve damage to him, ending with, yeah, but that doctor did lose his license and owes a few million to the IRS, so karma did get him in the end. Coach looked up that name to find the case I referred to and saw that the man who took everything from me had a new clinic open. He got his license back and shifted most of the debt to another person. I mean, that sucks, but yeah, I don't even need a doctor. I pop my arm back in, make my own splint. It's no problem. Saving hundreds on healthcare. Thousands. That pain I grew to depend on for speed evolved into malice, and I mentally broke. I felt everything that he had done to me come back again, and I asked Coach if I could just swim and not do any sets or workouts, but just swim for about 2 hours to try and clear my head in a more healthy manner. Coach said yes to my request. I went through the rest of the day seething and just waiting to work through it in the water. We get to the pool and Coach pulls me aside to talk about it again. He told me, hey, I told some of your friends on the team that you're not doing so well. Don't be scared to reach out to them. I was not happy about that, but I couldn't hate him. No, he's trying to help. Overstepping, but trying to help, so he doesn't deserve my hate. Whatever, dude. I got enough hate for everybody. I'm gonna spill it out on each one of you individually. We got on deck to start, and might I add, at this point, I was a mess. Mermaid supervisor, Flyer, Nemo, and Allergic came over to try and pry it out of me, and that's when I lashed out a bit. OP, look, it's my skeleton to deal with. Allergic, but you don't need to do it alone. You could tell us. Flyer, dude, I want you to dislocate your shoulder and you made a dumb joke a few minutes after. If this got you quiet, I feel like you need to make a dumb statement, at least. OP, my skeleton. Supervisor, look, I really don't know you, but this is not how you were when you introduced me to the team. OP, I just need to swim! Alone! Please! Allergic. You promise you're okay though, right? OP says, I'm fine. Flyer. No, dude. I watched you dislocate your arm and you didn't flinch, and your ex got with Chlorinebeard, and you kept on with your mood. Whatever happened, it's more than that, because OP, I'm fine! Supervisor. Hey, really, it's OP. For the love of God, I'm fine. I'm sorry. I just need to be alone. It's my problem that I have to deal with, so I want to deal with it alone. Yeah, quit trying to fucking dogpile me for your own ego. I could be the one that helped him. Yeah, help me by fucking off for a little while and let me figure some shit out. I'm pretty with OP on this. Little masturbatory, little self-congratulatory, but I'll let all that slide. I see where you're coming from. Normalize leaving people the fuck alone. A good chunk of the team was now looking at me and my friends, so I dove into the water. I'll hide in here. It's clear. I swam for about an hour without stopping, just thinking about why the universe tends to play its hand in this way. It's a cruel bitch, that's why. I was in my head trying to find order in my mind, but then Chlorinebeard came into my lane. The source of one of my problems got in front of me. Chlorinebeard, hey! And then you drown him. I didn't say anything because I was swimming and I didn't want to lash out anymore. I swam another 50 meters, and when I got back to where he was, he grabbed my legs. He grabbed me, so I did my best dolphin kick to escape. Yeah, and it's a pretty strong dolphin kick because he's a Dr. Dolphin Man, don't forget. If he got hurt, it's his fault. I also went deeper into the water, so if he were to hold on, he would go with me on a bit of a ride. He did let go until I got back, and then again, he grabbed me. I was done with everything, so I decided to stop biting my tongue. OP, keep your grubby mitts to yourself. Chlorinebeard, dude, the team is worried about you. OP says, I am not an issue. Chlorinebeard, dude, what happened to you? OP, pain of the purest caliber. What do you think? Yeah, I know I was being edgy, but hey, my feelies was hurt. That's right. Sometimes you feel it real deep. Chlorinebeard, come on! Learning about what Doctor had been up to isn't anything new. He knew. I thought at the time that Coach told him and my temper was being tested. OP, I do have the fucking nerve to drown you here, on both what you said and the fact that you've been handsy with me. Chlorinebeard, you can't do that. Manager wouldn't. And this time I failed the test of my temper. I took a deep breath and grabbed him. I wrapped my legs around his arms were held to be fully extended, and I dragged him under. The look in his eyes said it all. Fear, desperation, regret, struggle. I didn't care. Nothing would stop me from taking him on a trip to the depths of the pool. Yeah, just hold him down there until the light goes out of his eyes. It's like the most powerful feeling in the world. What? No, don't do that, actually. I have no idea how long I held on to him down there, but it did end faster than I wanted it to. Flyer, being as observant as ever, spotted my attempted murder and got the two of us separated. So close yet so far. Flyer, what the fuck happened? OP, he knows! Chlorinebeard is actively getting out of the pool while Flyer's holding me back like a fish again. Chlorinebeard, all I said was it's okay to vent. OP, liar! Coach, OP, Chlorinebeard, what's y'all's problem? OP, you lied to me. You told them everything. Coach, OP, calm down. I told Allergic, Flyer, Manager, and Nemo that something happened. Nothing else. Chlorinebeard waddled over to Manager and started to talk to her while I explained what happened to Coach. He told me that no one else knew, and I did ask the people he told to see if they knew. I thought that trying to drown Chlorinebeard would be the end of it all, but 4 people stayed behind to talk to me after Coach told me that drowning members is not allowed. Yeah, non-members, however, we just need to get them kicked out of the club, and then we could drown them. Captain, Flyer, Chlorinebeard in the locker room, and Manager outside it. Chlorinebeard says, what the hell was that? OP says, do you ever wonder why we're here? Chlorinebeard, why did you? OP, do you? ever wonder why we're here? Chlorinebeard. Well, no, but... OP. I do. And sometimes I think that I'll be good and let the universe dole out the punishments, but you're on fucking thin ice. So I swear you better leave before I drag you back to the pool, and before I could say anything else, Chlorinebeard punched me in my side as I was putting on my shirt. That, of course, shocked me, but I didn't feel it. OP, you're weak. You know that, right? He punched me again. OP, you know, your dad wouldn't call that a swing. I know it's a low blow, but I only saw red at that point. Captain. Chlorinebeard, stop! OP. No, let him get it out of his system. He wailed on me while I just took stabs at him verbally. I couldn't really feel the pain, so I had no desire to fight him. Oh, but I know you could have fought him if you wanted to, OP. You'd, with one hand behind your back, you'd, force choke him up against the lockers and stuff. That's the powers that come with being Dr. Dolphin Man with detachable arms. It is still edgy. Some of the edginess is still in you, OP. I see that. Anyway, OP says, you know how we became friends? I see that I lied, and I hated you to your core, and everything about you is what I find wrong with the world, so we aren't friends. And you're a disgusting slob. Yeah, he is that, if nothing else. But also, he's Mr. Steal Your Girl, so what the fuck does that say? I pushed him away. Chlorinebeard stumbled and was out of breath, so I turned away to walk out and go to another bathroom to put on my pants, and then he made a choice. He punched me in the one place on my body that I can feel, my back. I made a noise resembling an elite death from Halo, and I turned around to see him confident, and then it changed to fear. I lunged at him and punched him in the gut so hard that I popped my shoulder back out of place, and he fell to his hands and knees. I then heard a voice in my head say, "Make him pay! He hurt you! Break him!" And I crouched down and had my hands on his head, and I was about to knee his skull right in when Flyer and Captain picked me up and said, "It's not worth it, dude. Bro, just walk away, man." It's like an 80s after-school special, isn't it? And then Chlorinebeard had the nerve to say, "This is exactly why you're a lost cause. You're a freak of nature, dude." Yeah, but at least it's halfway to a shitty superpower. You're just fat and smell bad. Which I guess is also halfway to a shitty superpower, maybe, depending how you use it. He's not been using his powers for good, I know that much. Now, the phrase lost cause has a lot of meaning to me because that's what my brother and some of my older teachers called me, and it broke 5 to 12-year-old me's confidence. No one knows this except for Manager. She said that phrase referring to a gotcha grind, and I explained that I personally don't like it because we were talking about our pasts and how certain words have different meanings due to past experiences a minute prior in the woods alone. That was way too much context for all that, but yeah, cave his head in now. That's what I came to see. Gladiatorial combat. I'm giving him the thumbs down. I think that means kill him. Or the thumbs up. Whatever means to do it, go ahead. Manager had told Chlorinebeard. She showed him a part of me that I said no one else had ever seen. I was done with this entire situation. OP, you just told me so much more than you'll ever know. And I will grant you a quick death if I can, but who knows? Drowning might take a minute. I walked out of the locker room and saw Manager. She looked at me, and for the first time in about 5 months, she talked to me directly. Manager, are you okay? Like you give a shit, bitch. And OP says, ask your boy toy. Manager, can we talk? OP, you're about half a year too late. Manager, you owe me one. Fuck you. You owe me 20. Front leaning rest position, now move. That means do push-ups. Go ahead, do it. If you're really sorry, you'll do the push-ups. Probably still wouldn't talk to you afterwards, though. OP says, you spent that one the second that you started to date Chlorinebeard. Or actually, let me be generous and say that one didn't count. But you then told Chlorinebeard about me being a lost cause. Are you just trying to play with me? Why the fuck would I give you one more? Manager, please. OP, you know what? Fine. We can talk. Not today, though. Saturday. and I want to know everything. And if I even suspect you're hiding anything, then you won't exist to me for the rest of my life. Manager. Okay, I promise. OP, keep your words to yourself. As of right now, they're worthless to me. Bro, good dunk. Fucking heavy. I wouldn't even given her the talk. Just been like, you made the choice. You didn't want to talk to me? Why do you get to fucking open it up and be like, now's the time? No, it's not. Give me another 6 months. Isn't she leaving the school anyway? You probably would have fucking broke up when you went off to college, but you couldn't even wait that long. Whatever. It's fine. It's because of OP's ego, okay? But good dunk, though, like I said. So I finally put on pants, and then I ran home. Wait, you didn't have pants this entire time? Friday rolled around, and Coach canceled practice for an emergency meeting. He pulled me and Cringebeard into the hall and talked about what happened in the locker room a few days prior. I showed him my core with all the bruises that Cringebeard was able to make, and I explained that Cringebeard was the one that had hit first, second, third, fourth, etc., etc. OP, Captain and Flyer saw it. You can ask them too. Cringebeard. But he hit me in my stomach. Yeah, you big fat stomach. I was just trying to pack it in for you a little. Coach says, look, y'all stay away from each other until this is sorted. I don't want either of you out of the team for this. Saturday rolled around. I went to the park that I asked manager to go to, and she then told me that Cringebeard found out about my poisoner's fate back in December and promptly told her. Cringebeard. The manager, he's lying about it to look cooler, and that's just not right. Think about what else he's lying about. And yeah, that was enough to convince her not to trust me. Is she a ride or die? You didn't belong here, bitch, the entire time. I don't know how you made it this long. So the manager says, look, that's all I can think of right now. And OP says, you lied to me. Manager, I'm so sorry. OP says, you ignored me. Manager, OP. OP says, you didn't trust me. Manager says, I trust you now. OP says, no. Manager, please, I miss you. Cringebeard, OP, no. You miss the me that would stay up with you while we cope about your dog dying, who'd also comfort you saying you'll be okay no matter what, and we'd help each other do our schoolwork and pack your family vacations that left in 7 in the morning on a week break, who would go anywhere that you'd drag me to. You miss the me that trusted you blindly. I'm not him anymore. Yeah, matter of fact, I take back everything that I said. I'm glad your dog's dead. How about that? Just fucking be as mean as possible. Why not? Hurt people hurt people. I'm hurt people. Let's do it. And then, what a twist. Cringebeard shows up. This fucking guy. OP says, and this is why I can never see you in any light ever again. Go talk to him. I know you fucking love doing that. I got up and started to walk away, back home, away from this mess. Cringebeard tried to talk to manager, but once she realized that I wasn't coming back, she ran after me, begging me to stay. She said that she told Cringebeard that everything was over, and that I was going back to you, OP. Oh, this is so convoluted. Why did she leave in the first place? What the fuck is this? Completely two-dimensional character. Like, the only reason that she's there is to cause drama for OP, and then also be his prize at the end, which probably he's gonna reject, I hope. If he has any self-respect, I believe that. He's a ReddX listener. He'll tell that bitch to kick rocks. OP says, and you hid the fact that you broke up with him. Again. Manager, but I told you now. OP, after I figured it out myself, because unlike you, I can keep my mouth closed. No one else, to my knowledge, knows about this. I didn't tell anyone because this is something that I thought should be more private. Cringebeard. OP, that's no way to... OP, are you sure that you want to talk? Cringebeard. All I'm saying is that... Yeah! I lunged at him, causing him to stumble back and fall, and I stopped just above him. OP, I can finish what I started any time, but I want you to live in fear, so let me make this clear. If I hear any more complaints about you doing anything to anyone, I will cause you pain. Whether it be cuts, punches, burns, or bruises, I'll hurt you. And you can't stop me. Flyer saved your skin twice. Are you willing to risk it a third time? Yeah, this is his Clint Eastwood moment. How many bullets should I fire? Kind of forgot myself. Do you feel lucky, Greenbeard? You're the big man on campus, OP. Everybody thinks you're awesome. Slightly edgy and self-destructive and weird too, but I don't know. We've all got our foibles, don't we? OP says, I walked home after, and I didn't talk to manager or Greenbeard directly for the rest of the year. I was done treating them like people that I had to talk to. That's the end of my aggression. Aw, I like the aggression part. But there's one last funny part of my encounters with him that I still look at with disgust. We were at regionals for swim and Greenbeard went as a substitute. While we were at the hotel waiting the next day to compete, no one wanted to be in the same room as Greenbeard because he was back to being the sulfur mine with skunks as miners that used barf to shower and gym socks to dry himself off. That's evocative. He wandered the halls looking for people to talk to, and he stunk the halls up so much that the hotel charged a bonus fee to our school. No one left their room because of his smell. There was also some drama with manager trying to be the one in charge of my times, but I don't know, it's just fucking swim drama, so I'm not going into that. That's the last of my observations of this foul creature, and I hope it can be used to help other scholars in their own stories. I think I'm done with Greenbeard for the rest of my life. I'm not gonna ever willingly do this field study again. I do like watching beards, but directly interacting, not for me. Yeah, same honestly. That's why I chose this profession. OP says, I wish you all the best. The waves of life are giving me one last call to answer, and I am OP, drowner, so I must sleep in the waves this time, just waiting to be awoken again. Yeah, and I'll be here to wake you up, screaming in your ears, some such. I really, I don't know. In my opinion, there's too much left unsaid in this story. It doesn't make 100% sense to me. And I know you say you're being thorough and honest and stuff, but there's just some gaps, you know? I'd like to get to know these other players and hear their side of the story and piece the whole thing together, but that's not how it goes a lot of the times. This is what we get, so I do appreciate it. I'm gonna have the Gubbinses maybe come after you for being a Dr. Dolphin Man. Let's see.
Every paragraph is a victory lap around their own suffering. I dislocated my shoulder, swam through agony, and still beat the beard. Mate, you sound like a Greek tragedy written by a Reddit mod. The whole thing drips with look how deep I am for surviving high school drama energy. Dark Gubbins.
Damn, Dark Gubbins, you didn't have to do him like that. I came after him, razzed him a little bit. You called him a Reddit mod. Boy. How about you, son? Let's hear it.
My man wrote, I am drowner, I must sleep in the waves once more, like he's Aquaman's burnout cousin doing slam poetry at a PTA meeting. Newsflash, you didn't ascend, you just punched a guy at swim practice and then wrote it like it was the Iliad. Gubbins.
Bro, there was no reason for all of that. Again, I'm giving out just everybody's tied up today. You guys are fucking on fire. Let's see what we can do with the epilogue. I might include it, I might not. Probably I will, just for completion's sake. But I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. Hey, remember all these characters? And I'll be like, no, I don't. So if you leave it right here, I don't blame you. But I hope you sign up on Patreon, Spotify, iTunes. We're out there on the internet. But yeah, epilogue. We got one more part to go. Let's knock it out. Oh, YouTube memberships. Did I mention that? Sorry. Here we are now. This is Greenbeard Epilogue. It'll probably be epic. A big epic log. Right in my fucking lap. Here we go. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not bitter. Howdy, ReddX Industries. I'm back from the depths once again. And I originally thought that my time as a scholar was over, but here are some events after my last post, and I have a more true ending on the case of Greenbeard. I have a little role as the narrator in the story because I was attending college at the time, so this story will be told from the perspective of allergic, and do take what little conversations are shown here as a rough depiction of what was said, because yeah, secondhand information. Cast is a mix from the past with a few new faces. I don't think OP knows how an epilogue works, but okay. We got Plato, a junior that was in weightlifting for the past 2 years and wanted to do cardio, so he has very well-defined muscles underneath a thin layer of fat. Did you get the forceps, the calipers, and pinch his waist with it, you know? Lank is a senior that's just terrifyingly tall. I met him and had to look up. I'd guess his height to be 6'6", and he is very skinny. Allergic is the eyes and ears of this story, a sweet soul who likes to believe in people even when they make major mistakes. And Beard. I still hate this guy, but now he's a senior and at the top of the food chain. And yeah, of course, he's letting that idea really get to his head. With the old people and some new, let's get this show started. One last time. Yeah, kick it up for old time's sake, you know? The academic year just started, and Allergic is making the most of her day getting acquainted with her teachers and her friends. She didn't get Beard in any of her classes, -2, computer science and swim. Miss Comp started the year how she usually does, keep talking and no one explodes. Dude, great game, what the fuck? And Allergic was sat next to Plato and Lank, similar to how Nemo and I met. Beard, of course, wanted to get into the good graces of a girl that was basically mandated to be in the same room because of a random schedule the school made. Now, Beard could have tried with another girl in the class, but I'm guessing that he wanted to try harder with one of his obsessions, Allergic. So he tried to smooth talk his way into being a partner with Allergic, but Allergic already got the social gears turning with both of the other guys, and Beard had no solid argument to break up the group, so he went to find other girls in the class, but he was too late. He was made to play the game with Miss Comp. You got stuck with the teacher, bro? I feel bad for the teacher more than anybody in this pairing. Swim eventually rolled around, and Allergic told me I was trying to get to the class and I could feel the stale air before I walked in the door. She smelled, heard, and then saw Beard arguing with Coach about his place on the team. See, he thought that because one of the captains before him, me, was his big, and my big was the captain before too, that he should clearly be the captain because of inheritance. Yeah, nepotism's worked for 1,000 years. I don't see why we should change anything. Just let that sink in. He tried to use me, of all people, as a reason why he should be captain. I tried to drown him. Hell, I openly hated him the entirety of my year as captain, and he thought because my big was a captain and I was a captain, he should also be a captain? I don't know, bro. I think Beard doesn't understand a lot of how the world works. Coach told him that he already made the choices for who the captains would be, and he wasn't on the list, and he chose to just give up in trying to swim. Oh, well that's nice. I don't have to see him in a bathing suit anymore. High five, everybody. For the next month, he spent more time in the water, harassing other swimmers that were too quiet to really complain than actually swimming, and in that time, a huge twist that I didn't expect was that Nemo and him would have something going on. Bro, now he's out here scooping up what you call your littles? Oh man, you can't have that shit, not in my house. I think Beard is the Rizzler, dude. He's out here just, everybody's in danger. Mr. Steal Your Girl's coming through. Holy shit, he's giving half the swim team submarine babies. Yeah, but seriously, he's gross. Why would you do this? I guess because they're, in high school, not very confident. Somebody asked me, I guess I'll go. Like, do you even like him? Well, no, but he made himself known. It's like half the battle that incels don't understand. Whatever, I'm getting off on another tangent. From what I heard, it wasn't dating what they were doing, but they were both just talking to each other more and spending time in practice just seething because I refused to play their games. Please read the other stories for Beard's game. Aren't you at college at this point? Who gives a shit? Those people I went to high school with are still playing grab ass? Big surprise. Nemo, on the other hand, was doing a weird dance with me, flirting, confiding in me, and expecting me to be her voice to Coach, and then being distant and cold, and wanting me to let her figure out how to be loud by herself for most of senior year and the summer after. I talked to her about that like a year ago, and I said, look, this dynamic ends when I go to college because I don't have the time to do all this with you. I care about you, but not enough to overclock myself to help, so you just figure out how you want to play this. I think OP's got something to unpack in therapy about why he finds himself drawn to women who are, like, detached and disinterested. Nemo claimed that my take was valid and then promptly blocked me on everything, even Roblox, and refused to say any good words about me. Well, then the message is clear, isn't it? Which fair, but she tried to preach that I was the villain, and the only person who agreed to the same extent was Chlorinebeard. Together, they would tell each other of my lesser moments, like me trying to drown Chlorinebeard, and a time where the betrayal of manager got me really down, and I said to Nemo, I'm not anyone else's issue. Don't try and drag this out of me because I'm sorting myself alone. And she took it as like well, let me construct a narrative of how manager's the villain, and I'm a kick puppy, boo-hoo. Allergic did try and talk to me about that low point, hence why I know about it. Yeah, but why am I supposed to give a shit about it? Are we wrapping up the story? Let's get to that if we might, please. Time trials came about a few weeks later after Chlorinebeard stopped trying, and he blew a fuse because he wasn't in the A rally, despite not actively trying in practice. Plato got a better butterfly time than him, and Chlorinebeard wasn't having it. He complained to coach about it for the next few days, and then one Wednesday, Chlorinebeard didn't show up to swim. And then the next day, and the next, and so on and so forth. Good. Wash my hand of that shit. I came back over Thanksgiving break to visit the people that I left back there, and I messed around with them before Coach told me to get off the deck so they could swim. I, however, begged them to let me do some managing work so I could playfully insult my friends once more. Oh yeah, get up there, college boy, Dr. fucking Dolphin Man. He's the big man on campus, don't you know? Not Chlorinebeard, everybody write that down. Even though he's swooping like every chick from you, bro. Like, it's not cool that he's swooping them like that, but you gotta ask yourself why. Why would they go with him instead of me? What the fuck is that? I'll say it again for the third time. It's the ego. It's the ego. And you might have slipped it a little bit since like these swimmer days, but it's not completely gone. I don't know if anybody can make it completely gone, honestly. And I mean, I include myself in that boat, to be clear. To my surprise, Coach agreed, and at the end, I did ask what happened to Chlorinebeard. And when I said earlier that he was harassing other swimmers, I was making an understatement. He was begging for phone numbers of most of the girls on the team, ranting through text without any provocation, and making most of the girls on the team feel pretty uncomfortable. So Coach decided to quietly remove him from the team for the sake of the team. Yeah, I figure after 4 years of letting him harass people, we finally had enough. Good job, Coach. You fucking found your nuts. I'm getting mean near the end of this. Where was all this vitriol early on? Anyway, Chlorinebeard also stopped trying to talk to Allergic in Miss Comp's class after he was shunned from the team, but did apparently hang around Nemo to complain and shoot his shot some more. But that's just hearsay, considering that I haven't held a conversation with Nemo since about a year ago from this day. Chlorinebeard's gone from my life and the team's life. If Allergic's not misreading things, the team came together a bit more as more of the freshman girls talked a bit more after he was removed. Everything after this is just one last personal story minus a goodbye at the end. Bro, I feel like I learned fucking nothing from this, but yeah, keep going. I ran into manager's mom while doing a cola run for my dad. She was nice and told me that manager was venting about being an idiot by trusting Chlorinebeard for about 1.5 years, and apparently went to counseling to figure out how to deal with her trust issues. Her mom asked me if I'd be around the area, and I made a mistake in saying that I was going to a swim meet with my friends. Competition came, and to my surprise, manager was there. She made an effort to look nice and tried to talk to me about the past immediately, and I asked her, could we hold this conversation until after? And she said, yeah. And then we just hung around some of our old friends talking about the more fun times and grand tales. Yeah, but despite all that, you know, there's an awkward conversation just around the corner. It's okay. I'm glad you could enjoy yourself still. I couldn't, probably. I'd be fucking neurotic about it the whole time. Anyway, after the events were over, I sat outside and waited for our friends to leave, and it was just the two of us, 2 years after betrayal, sitting outside a natatorium. We talked about everything that happened, and after it all, she asked me, I know I made a dumb choice back then, but I want to know if you can forgive me. And I spent a long time sitting there thinking, because the past 3 hours that we spent together did feel like old times, so judge me if you will, but I said, I can't forget what you did. And you know I can't pretend like it didn't happen out of my own self-respect, but you might be on the right path to right your wrongs, so I don't know. You keep trying to get better. Not for me, but for yourself. Nice answer, I guess, but also it's a fucking bad choice road. You know, you've seen it happen once. I'm not willing to invest the energy again. I think we're good. Thanks. Forgive yourself for it first. Stop fucking chasing me around, harassing me about it. Trying to make yourself feel better by forcing an acceptance of this apology out of me. I don't even think about that shit no more, bro. I'm on to the next, dude. So yeah, I guess I forgive you, whatever, but don't talk to me no more. Anyway, then we had a long conversation on her trying to grow, and she mentioned that she was hungry, and I felt peckish too, so we went out to eat. We paid for ourselves and went home. Now, about once a week, we talk or text about random things. Will I regret this reconnection? Maybe. Read probably. I'm ever the cynic, you know? I don't want to fucking do it again. Like, you and me are similar, OP, in the way that we would like to see people change for the better, but you're about, you know, direct involvement, whereas I'm like, I don't know, I said the thing, take from it what you will. Maybe you got some use out of it. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Thank you for reading these endeavors of mine, even this wall of text. The waves call me. This account's done recounting beards, so I'm going back to the waves of life once more. Yeah, well, we probably didn't have to do the epilogue. Holy shit, Gubbin's been talking this whole time. It might have been a bit overkill, you know. I guess it's good we know that Beard is out of the picture or whatever, but I was expecting like a recounting of the cast list. I guess it wasn't that. OP just wanted to tell us his story one more time. Like, hey, I reconnected with an ex-girlfriend. So it's okay, well, that's your mistake to make, I guess. Good luck with it. Let's see what the Gubbinses think about all this.
He came in smelling like axe and regret, and he leaves the same way, just with fewer people willing to talk to him. The pool's quieter now, the freshmen aren't afraid to swim, and somewhere out there, a lifeguard whispers, he's finally gone. Gubbin?
I mean, he's gone from the pool, I guess, but he still exists at the school. I would have hoped for something more explosive, but we get what we get sometimes, you know? How about you, Dark One?
Good riddance indeed. The saga ends not with a splash, but a gurgle. Bubbles of ego rising one last time before silence. Sleep in the depths, chlorine beard, and may no sequel ever resurface. Dark Gubbins.
Damn, seems like you feel a certain type of way about that, Dark Gubbins, you know? I don't know if the bubbles of ego were for OP or Chlorine Beard. Probably both. Probably both. Seems like a sort of everybody sucks here situation. I don't feel like I truly got the whole story, but we did cover it. Front to back, cover to cover. Maybe some more will be revealed in the future. I don't know. But what I do know is I appreciate you guys watching. Sign up with Patreon, YouTube memberships. Watch us on YouTube or Spotify or iTunes. I guess that's more for your ear holes. But yeah, we do got podcasts out there. I'd appreciate you checking us out. I especially appreciate if you watch the episode this far, you know. And I'd like to remind you, as I always do, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it. And I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.